So we're a bit out of the realm today when it comes to talking about the regular sports. But we're going to transition a bit more over to world football, club football. We're moments away from the World Cup, and Liverpool just thought, hey, let's not show up for the last, give or take, 5 games remaining. The upside is they made it to the Champions. They make it past the Champions League. The downside is they're probably the most out of form teams, and their next match is an important one and probably a defiant one for the rest of the year. After they drew with Tottenham, they drew with Tottenham Hotspur. Even though they beat Galatasaray 4-0, they lose to Brighton with a Danny Welbeck brace. Danny Welbeck, a United forward, veteran now of the Premier League. Why do we keep playing Cody Gakpo? And they used him as an alternative second striker to try to spread around the lines. Alexis McAllister at 10, 3 mids with 4 backs. And it's still Van Dijk and Ibrahim Konate. When Konate has fallen out of form and he's so sporadic whenever he performs, Jeremy Frimpong has been absolutely poor this season. And these were supposed to be top-tier acquisitions. Sure, Liverpool possibly had no expectations of trying to repeat. It's always difficult to always repeat as defending champions in the Premier League. But they were using the funds to make it was a definite that they were possibly going to at least contend, at least finish second or third in a good title race with Man City. Man City's not even in form this year. But they're still better than Liverpool, no doubt about it. And then a major injury substitution out of Hugo Ekitike after a collision with a player in the middle of the field. And Gravenberch and Soboslai and Florian Wirtz. People think he's a flop this year. I feel like he's been an outlier trying to perform in a different league where the physical conditions are going to be a lot. But what's going to be enough excuses for Liverpool to know that this is just not it? When it came over to Matavatsvili getting exposed over the back line, Kirkaz being your biggest game changer. He scored a goal after a defensive error involving Lewis Dunk, and it rolled off his head. And then it became a goal off a chip shot from Milos Kirkaz. That's about it. Welbeck deserved those 2 goals. Incredible crosses. Good playmaking. Minte was just bursting past the Liverpool defense. Piss poor effort from Liverpool. When it comes over to guys they could be playing, people wanted a lot of different players to play. If you guys haven't been familiar with Liverpool, they were the Premier League champions last season with a new uprising head coach out of Arne Slot, and now it looks like they want the coach fired. They probably want their greatest ever player that joined their club for near a decade out of Mohamed Salah to probably leave. Van Dijk and Konate might not be a defensive duo anymore. Their fullbacks have been wildly uncreative in how to impact and spread the long ball. The biggest game changer that could spread over the field and create long ball chances gone out of Trent Alexander-Arnold to play for Real Madrid for $10 million, by the way. $10 million. They gotta just grind my gears. That's practically a free transfer. Just for their best goal scorer to be out now out of Hugo Ekitike, and their second best goal scorer to be playing any other position except his natural one. Soboslai plays as a main central midfielder, and he's played right back, scored as a right back. Then he plays as a deep line. I think they played him over as a striker at one case scenario over the season. And as well as the record-breaking striker out for the season since his last game against Newcastle, bro. At this point, it's time to pull the plug. On the season, I mean, not as a group. Because this is absolutely tough situations. Their next fixture, after international break, because we're near the ending of the month, and majority of the time after this, we'll be having I guess we'll be having international break for World Cup playoffs, who'll be the last call-ups before the tournament, and who will be qualifying to take over the final groups. So it'll be Man City versus Liverpool in the FA Cup. And this is going to be a major one, knowing just Josko Gvardiol, a key regular piece, is gone, but they still have probably one of the better players out of Doku, but he's inconsistent. You still have Antoine Semenyo and Erling Haaland that can obviously break the lines over this offense. But I bet this is going to go down to penalties. And Liverpool is now 6th place. Liverpool is 6th place. Who would expect that? You know who's a higher position than them right now? Villa. And I remember when they started off being undefeated over the past 2 months to now losing 3 straight. Falling around from 3rd to now 4th. Manchester United hasn't lost a game yet. They haven't lost since their 2-1 upset against Newcastle. And after that, they were coming from a 4-game winning streak. They've been one of the most informed clubs in England, next to Arsenal. And this is probably it for the league. And it's not even because mainly Premier League fans hate Arsenal. They hate the fan base. It's the equivalent of the Philadelphia Eagles winning a Super Bowl. At that case scenario, team deserves it. Played great. Even if you weren't a fan of their play style, it had results. They gained it, and they had some outliers that really made the season fun. And then the fans just rub it in your face and make it feel like they won 3 straight. That's literally how it feels. That's literally how it feels whenever you watch Arsenal fan bases roll. They're about to treat Victor Gyökeres's season like R9's inter-season as soon as he wins that Premier League. I already have to hear Arsenal fans, as soon as they have a 2-1 win off a set piece off Gabriel, and they're immediately saying that it's better than their invincible season. Oh, and Bukayo Saka is better than Lionel Messi's 2010 season. Like, I can't take it. And Arsenal and Liverpool, if you guys can't even survive over the Europa Conference League, because the chance to actually finish 5th is close. Very close. The only club that's probably out of a European chance is probably Newcastle and Bournemouth, all because of the loss of players in the rotation. And the fall off of Crystal Palace has to be documented, and it probably has to do with what goes on the economics of running a football club, especially when there's so many more clubs that are more expensive than you. That's just natural selection at that point, man. And Tottenham Hotspurs. This has been an insane season for certain case scenarios. But not over the case scenario that actually helps a lot of fans, knowing that whatever was supposed to go good for Liverpool goes completely poorly. If we're looking over their past several fixtures, Liverpool was actually having a good span of game where there was optimism. And then they lost to Wolves 2-1. Yet again, these guys have a winning streak. They beat Brighton in the FA Cup. They beat Nottingham Forest, West Ham, Sunderland by 1. And then they lose to Man City 2-1. Every time they're building up momentum. And this is not even the best side I've seen of Manchester City. This has been a weak side if we're talking midfield-wise, style of play, way they can clutch over games. And then they lose to Manchester United. And then they lose to Bournemouth 3-1. When they were just choking over the final third. And Szoboszlai came with an impressive goal. Then Ali scored. Jimenez scored. And then Evan Nielsen scored. And Amane scored over the final moments. They cannot hold a game to save their life. They've lost that clutch gene. Liverpool didn't invest in a team with grit. They just went into career mode and just thought it'd stick together. They just fought a complete team with no psychopaths, no edge, no grit, and Liverpool has lost their fear factor as a legitimate side, except with a bunch of great players. Don't get me wrong. Could they turn their season around and probably finish at least fourth? Doubtfully, but it's possible. Do they need to pick up? Do they probably need to change a couple things, especially the regime? I doubt it. Because I've seen worse title defenses, if I'm being fair, for the Premier League title. You probably got to go back to 2017 Leicester to even go as insane into involving like a team that wasn't ready for big time football. And that Leicester's probably going to get relegated over to the third division after winning the Premier League barely a decade ago. Now they got PSG in the Champions League. They have their derby rivalry with Everton around next month. Around the 19th, past WrestleMania. And then they play Fulham that I doubt they're even going to end up with a draw. Probably Raul Jimenez comes in a last-minute goal. Because that's the type of expectations I now get from Liverpool. And it sucks too, because there are some great players. Szoboszlai has had a breakout year. Florian Wirtz has taken a while to catch himself in form, but he's been exceptional adapting to the Premier League. He can create the chances, but he can't execute his clutch gene like he did all his time in the Bundesliga. Ekitike is floured out to be a very flair, explosive, exciting striker. I felt like he was a better acquisition to pick over than Isak. That just felt like the hype signing just to get a hype signing. And Kirkes and Frimpong, but more of a wide back system. This just feels like you guys needed a back three. Offense. The way you guys need to play total football, try to stretch around the field, spread the field because you guys can't link up play like you used to. You guys can't push back like you guys used to. You guys can't press like you used to. And systematically, it's just a flawed system. How you guys play football, Liverpool, is sloppy. The fall off has to be documented because just in a systematic morale standpoint, Liverpool just feel more etched out, having 14 wins with 10 losses with 7 draws. As a club of you guys, team-wise, you guys should be at least close to at least where Manchester United or Aston Villa is. And Aston Villa has been in a sloppy campaign for even a Champions League opportunity. Either Yari Tielemans or Morgan, it's been poor. Especially when it comes to how their players actually perform. How they can create is decent, but when it comes to now they have to get Tammy Abraham to play over Ollie Watkins, bro. It gets really depressing when you look over the actual league. I mean, there has been at least some upside out of all this. United's back in European opportunity after firing 15 different coaches. All they had to do was actually get a coach that actually cares about his team and trust their players to actually get a chance. And Man City's good, but they're not great as they used to. But that's all I got. How do y'all feel about Liverpool's fall off? Is it that drastic? You think they should really fire Arne Slot? You think there's going to be some guys that need to go? Because I already got some guys that need to go, in my opinion. There's at least 4 different positions that they need to adapt, change, and probably add some person that actually looks like they would die for the badge to actually have a chance. Even though I can understand some of the systematic frustrations, I would get rid of Cody Gakpo, that's one. Federico Chiesa, Mohamed Salah, they probably need to find a replacement. Wataru Endo, Curtis Jones, Virgil van Dijk, Milos Kerkez, Connor Bradley. Get at least some money out of your academy starlet. Joe Gomez has been there for 20 odd years, and he barely rotates over for the team. Hell, even Ibrahim Konate. Try to invest on guys that would actually have legs and not always going to be gambling on just their physicality to win the spot. And these guys are like lost IQ. And Allison might not be the move come around his mid-30s because his fitness has been a major concern. And Georgi Mamadashvili doesn't seem to be the key piece, except it's the meta now to get somebody that's NBA size to play keeper. That's it for me over in the DST show. You guys enjoy the rest of your night and the rest of your weekend. Tell me who you guys feel like would be a good key piece for the Premier League and who you guys have winning the World Cup